Okay. I'm super excited. So if you want to just jump right in and start with your story and then go from there.
Okay. Yeah, so my name is Carly Guerrero. I am a triple diamond with It Works. November, it will be 3 years since I joined this business. November 19th of 2016 is when I got started. Before I joined this business, we were on the struggle bus of struggle buses. Like, it was just so bad. I was a full-time hairstylist, and I was confident in, my abilities to do hair. And so right out of cosmetology school, instead of like going to like a smaller salon and building my clientele, which in cosmetology school, if you know anything about that, like like part of like the school is like book work, but then actually like going into like a school salon and like doing hair, and like we would take clients and stuff. And so I was building my clientele that way, and obviously like all of my family member and friends. But it still wasn't quite enough to be making the kind of money that I needed to be making going into the salon that I was in. I was booth renting. So if you know what that means, I was having to pay for my chair, as well as provide all of the product myself. So there was nothing provided except for like towels, water, electricity, like just the room or the area that I was in. And so it was $500 a month. It was $125 every single Thursday that I had to pay, on top of bleach, shampoos, colors, combs, brushes, clips, everything. And so, I remember like sitting down one day and just being like, how much money am I bringing in? Like, because I kind of felt like I was doing good, but then like we started getting like late notices and disconnection notices, and like bills were piling up. I was like, okay, like something's not adding up. And I was really only bringing in like 200, sometimes $300 a month. And that just wasn't cutting it. And, I started praying for something because, like I said, bills were piling up, disconnection notices, pink slips, like we had cars repossessed, and I started praying for something. We even had like utilities shut off, water heat got shut off, and I started praying. And that's when I followed Courtney Bohr on Instagram, and I was a hairstylist, and so her platinum blonde, long, beautiful hair like just sucked me in. And I was like, who is this girl, and why is she so beautiful? And I was like hardcore creeping her. I mean, I want to say I was like 2 years down by like scrolling in her Instagram, and I saw a post about how she was standing next to her car. I'm sure you've seen this post. It's the exact same post that got Shay to join the business. Like she got two rock stars off of one post. So that just goes to show you, you never know what post is going to bring who into your business and when. But I saw that and I was like, okay, she just like paid off a car, and it's a nice car. And she says she works from her phone. Like, this isn't real. And I like shut my phone and like set it down because I was just so like struck by it. I was like so intrigued and so just like, this isn't real. Like, there's no way. And I remember like picking my phone back up and going back to it. And I was like, okay. And I kept looking and reading posts and seeing this. And I was, seeing all the things that she was able to do. And she was so young and she was so financially free. And I was like, I freaking want that. Like, I want to be able to order anything I want on Amazon and still pay my bills. Like, why can't I live that life? And so I just started asking her questions. What is it? What do you do? How do you get paid? Like, tell me. And that was on a Wednesday, and I literally had no money in my bank account. And so I'm texting her like now, I'm like, I hate when I get those distributors where they're like asking you all these questions, like she's going to sign up on the spot. And then like, I don't have the money. That was me. And, I was like, I don't have the money right now, but Friday, my day is booked in the salon. And the way that we were living was I was going and making money, but that money was already spoken for. So I was making $400 that day, but X amount was going towards this bill, and this bill. So it was like, I really didn't even have the $99 to get started. And I remember I went to the hair salon and I could not shake this business. Like, I could not get it out of my head. Like, I was just like, what if this, like, what if this is that thing that I've been praying for? Like, what if this helps us? And so I went home. My husband was at work, and I paid the bills that I needed to pay. And, I said our water would get shut off. Like, there for a while we lived, it was like a 5-month period. Our water would get shut off because the way that like the bills like fell, like when the water bill was due, we didn't have the money to pay it. And so it would get shut off. And then like a week later we would get paid with It Works, and I would just go turn it back on, or not It Works, but he would get paid. And so I was like, do I pay my water bill or join this business? Do I take my last $100 and do the responsible thing and pay my water bill so that we don't get our water shut off again? Or do I join this business and see where it takes me? And the way that I was thinking, because she had told me, like, when I joined, you got 4 wraps, 4 mini defining gels, and fab wrap. And that was like $120 worth of product. And so I was like, you can take your $100 and you can join this business, and you're going to get your kit, and then you can sell those products to like family and friends and make your $100 back and then go pay your water bill. So I'm thinking I'm like killing two birds with one stone, and that's exactly what I did. Joined the business. I went Ruby. I joined in November. I went Ruby in January, and then I went March 28th. I went Emerald, and then the last day in March I went Diamond. So I went Diamond in 4 months. Then it took me a year to go from that March to go double. And my story does kind of have two parts. So like, you know, I was praying for something that would help my family out of the struggle, help us, you know, because I felt like my husband just had like all like, you know, he was a car salesman, like he was making more money than me. I wanted to help out. And so I was praying like, you know, whatever's out there that can help me, that can, you know, help our family, like I'm ready for it, throw it on me. It works, found me. But my story has two parts. So, you know, you always hear people say that every 6 months you're going to go through something, and it might not be as drastic as what I went through, but every 6 months something will happen in your life, whether it's you lose an animal or you get sick or a kid gets sick or, you know, something will happen. But last summer I was actually able to leave that marriage because it turned abusive. And I never would have thought that it would have gotten there. But if this business hadn't been placed in my life 2 years prior, I would not have been able to leave. And so I know that God put this business in my path because, you know, he knew that like I was going to go through some struggles, and he wanted to prepare me to have a way out. And so I was actually able to leave in July. I had never lived on my own because we lived with my parents, then moved into our first house, and like we had always lived together. And so I left in July. I actually left July 10th. July 12th, I had no credit and no money in my bank account because I had just left and was like trying to like go get an apartment and everything. And just the way that like that marriage was, like he did not work. I was the only one. We lived off of my Diamond income for a really long time. So it was like I wasn't able to save that much. But because of this business, I left July 10th. July 12th, I was able to go and buy a car with like my credit was not good. But I think it was just, you know, a God thing. Like he knew what I was going through. I bought my first car, my dream car, a Toyota 4Runner. It was always on my dream board. I was able to just walk into the dealership. And I think I walked in on the 14th. No, the 12th. But then we got paid on the 15th. And so I took half of that paycheck and I put down as a down payment, got my dream car. That was in July. In August, I moved into my apartment. That was the first time I had ever lived by myself. So that was so weird to like get used to, like living on your own, plus having a kid, plus being pregnant, and working this business. And so it was like everything at once. That was in August. And then in September, Riley was born. So it's like left an abusive marriage, bought a car, moved out by myself, adjusted all of that, have a newborn. And then in October, I promoted to Triple Diamond. So in like a super crazy part of my life, I was able to keep my business going and promote to Triple. But that's my story.
I get goosebumps every time that I hear your story. So hold on, I can't see what's going on. Okay. So you literally promoted to a leadership rank when like so much craziness was happening in your life. So what kept you like focused on, and because so a lot of times people are like, oh, like I need this for my family, I need this for my kids, I need this for this. But then when like stuff starts hitting the fan and everything's getting crazy, the business is the first thing that takes the back burner. Mm-hmm. So having a newborn, being out on your own for the first time, like getting your apartment situated, like going through it for the whole nine, like how did you stay focused on your business? And because double to triple is a huge jump.
Yeah. Yes.
So like, what did that look like for you? And how were you able to just like keep it going?
So I remember, you know, going through all of that, and I was charted for triple. And so, but like going through all of that, I was kind of like, you know, I'm overwhelmed. Like, I don't know if this is a time that I need to be. And this was probably like, I'm going to go with like sometime in August because I was in my apartment. But I just remember like I would sit down and I'd look at my chart and it's like, I'm charted and like, you know, these people are working, but like maybe this leg is a little iffy. And, you know, I just remember being like, you can do it, but like, can you mentally do it? Like, can you add that on? You know, because I mean, I was a single parent to a 2-year-old and a newborn. I did not have postpartum depression, but I had baby blues out the wazoo. Like the sun would set and I was like, I need friends. Like, I need somebody to come over and talk to me. Like, I would just cry. Like, I would call my mom and like, she'd be like, do you want me to come stay with you? I'm like, please. And so like for the longest time, like it was either like my mom, dad, my brother, and even Brianna, if you know her on my team, like she dates my brother. And so like they would like take turns and like come and stay the night with me. And like people, like even my leaders, like they would constantly text me. Like somebody was always checking in with me. But you know, I remember just being like, can you deal with this? And September came. Well, I guess that was in September because Riley was born. So like late September, you know, I remember just being like, okay, I'm ready. I don't know how I'm going to do it, and I don't know exactly what it's going to take, but if you've promoted in this business, then you know that feeling that I'm talking about. It's like you just wake up one day and it's like, I have what it takes. I can do it. And so I woke up and I just felt it. And, you know, I knew I mean, even in October, like that was like late September. So I want to say I was probably 4,500 volume wise away from going triple. And when October started, I remember I was 3,333 away. And I was like, all of this in 1 month with a newborn and all of this, like, is this even going to happen? And I was just like, why not just try, like actually try? And I just sat down and, you know, that was because of like what I left and like I was unhappy in my marriage. It was kind of like a breath of fresh air to be able to be on my own because I wasn't walking on eggshells and I didn't have him, you know, because his energy would like bring me down. It's like I'd wake up and I'd be great, but then he's in a bad mood, so now I'm in a bad mood. And it was just me in my apartment. So I like my mindset just like really got up there, and I just did it. Like I just sat down and I just did the work, and I told myself, you know, everything else in your life is going crazy, and you cannot control that. And I tell my team this, and I say this probably on every Zoom that I do, but everything else in your life can be a complete and total upside down tornado, chaotic mess. This business is the one thing, like I don't even control my kids. Like I control this business, right? Berkeley still has a mind of her own. I can tell her to do this, but she's still going to throw that fit. But this business is mine. So if I'm going to promote, if I'm going to be successful, it's because I'm doing it. And, you know, it brought me joy because, you know, I like working in this business. I enjoy it. I like talking about the business. I like doing Zooms. I like talking about the products. I like posting. I like editing pictures. Like everything that goes into this business, I like. And so everything else was so miserable. And it was like, if I just found myself sitting there sulking, I wasn't doing myself any good. But here's something that I'm in control of that I love. And so I just literally clung to this business. And I know that that's just like what helped me go through that part of my life. And that's what what helped me go triple, because I knew that it was mine.
I just love that. It's so true. I say that all the time too. Like this is like the one thing that you can literally control because you control the work that you put in.
Yeah.
So I know like just from hearing you talk on other Zooms and just like reading your posts and just following you for the last couple of years, like I know that like your marriage was like also like verbally abusive, and know that can like take a really big emotional toll on you. Yeah. Like when someone is speaking down to you. So like coming out of that, like how did you build up that self-confidence to be like, okay, like I am freaking like badass and I can do anything, and like I am not all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that it kind of just like, I want to say like it all tied in together because I mean, it was always like emotionally and verbally abusive, and like he would cheat on me and stuff. And so like, I mean, I was pregnant with Berkeley at my bachelorette party before we were ever even married, and found out that he was cheating on me. But I was like, oh, well, like we're having a baby. Like I still need to give this a shot. And then like down the road, I found out he cheated on me again. And that's when we like started going to church even more. And like, you know, he did everything he was supposed to do to try to like keep me. But then it turned into like him mooching off of me. I retired. Like, and that's the thing. Like, I'll admit this now. Like, I didn't retire him. I mean, yeah, we lived off of my income, so I retired him. He came home because I caught him cheating on me. You know what I mean? And so it's like he's still retired. Like, he was retired, and like this business was doing everything. But, you know, coming out of that, I think it was like being so unhappy and like going into it's like I control my happiness. I don't have anybody who is making me feel down. And it really, honestly, I think that's why I'm so good with like talking about mindset, and like, because I mean, my team will tell you, like, if they get in like a funk, they're like, go to Carley, just go to her, like, just tell her what you're going through and let her just talk to you. And I think that's because I got so good being with him at just being in my own head and like trying to like cope with that, and then realizing I don't have anybody to make me feel any less. So whatever I'm feeding myself is what I'm feeding myself. And so what I was thinking and the thoughts that I was producing, like, they were all just good thoughts. But what was the exact question?
I mean, you kind of answered it. Just like, I mean, going like being in like an emotionally abusive relationship where like someone's like constantly talking down to you and like, just making you feel like unworthy, like getting yourself out of that mindset and being like, no, like this is not. But I feel like you must have had to have like gotten to that point to leave.
Yeah, well, that definitely. And then two, I think because when I first left, like, I never really posted about anything. I mean, you could tell that clearly I wasn't with him because I talked about my apartment and doing this for my kids, and all of a sudden, like, he was nowhere in the picture. And we had just moved into a house. We moved into a house in April, and I left in July.
I
And so,
remember.
like, you just got a house, and now you've got an apartment. And I was like, get out of my inbox. You will find out when the time comes. You know what I mean? But, so people knew what, like, they knew. But two, what helped me was all of like my friends and like the messages that I would get. And it was like, I was never open on social. Now I'm open about it, but like in the beginning, I was never like, I left an abusive marriage, but people caught on. And I had girls in the business who I had no clue who they were message me. And they're like, I don't know what's going on, but I noticed that your husband's not in the picture and this is what I'm going through. And I just felt like I could come to you and talk to you about it. And like that, and like relating to more people and being able to help more people. And like, that's why I think that I went through that. I think because I'm not yellow. Okay. I'm not yellow. I have a heart and I care, but I'm not like super emotional. Like, I'm really strong, and like, which that sounds weird to call myself strong, but like I am, like, I can deal with stuff. And so, like, when I think that that's why I went through it, because God knew, like, she's a tough one. Like, she can handle this, but she's going to go through this, and she's going to be able to show other people that it can be moved and that they can overcome it. And so people caught on, and they would come to me, and I had people just like people who aren't even in business. Like, I'm so inspired by you. Like, thank you for being you. I don't know what you're going through, but you're so strong. And it was like messages like that. I was like, hot dang. Okay. You're right. I've got this. And so that really did help too.
I love that. So you were talking about like your mindset and how like you've always been good at like being in your head. So like, what are your favorite ways to personal develop?
So for me, for the longest time, I thought that personal development had to be me sitting down and going to YouTube and watching Jade Hooper or, another ambassador. And I thought that that was personal development, or sitting down and listening to a podcast, or sitting down and listening to, Tony Robbins, or, all these other things, or like reading these books. Personal development is anything that makes you feel good, that puts you in a good mood, point blank. Okay. So I am extremely OCD. Like, it's bad how OCD I am. Like, I've trained myself to be able to stand the toys everywhere, but if there's like crumbs and dirty dishes, like things like that, like I can't look past it. It's like my brain won't let me forget it. And so for me, every single morning I wake up, well, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I wake up, get Berkeley ready for school, take her to school. I come home, I make my keto coffee, and I clean. And while I'm cleaning, Riley's crawling around playing, doing whatever. But while I'm cleaning, I listen to music, whatever I'm in the mood for, whether it be more like, gospel or country or pop, listen to music, and I'm cleaning. But while I'm cleaning, I'm thinking, okay? And I'm like making like all of these like declarations, like what I want to do in my business, and, what I'm attracting, and, like I'm going to find my next rock star, thinking about like, my team, like who's showing up, who can I give my time to, like things like that as I'm cleaning. So it's kind of like I'm doing two things at once, like cleaning so I can focus, and that just puts me in a good mood. I like cleaning. I don't know if that's weird. And then also, thinking about my business and putting things out there so it comes. And since I've been doing that, it's weird how things like that work, but I do have more people message me about the business. And I think it's because I'm just so like, this is what I'm attracting and this is what I want. But I do that. Another thing that I do listen to podcasts. Like every night when I take a bath, I listen to the uh, She's Here For It podcast by Abby Kappa, I believe. If you have not listened to it, holy cow. I listened to episode 6 yesterday and I was like, oh my gosh. And like, as soon as I got done, I went live on my team page and like so many people were like, holy cow, like this just changed my business. So listen to that podcast. It's so good. She's actually in another multi-level marketing company. I think she's in, uh, shoot, I don't know what company she's in, but it still relates. So I listen to podcasts. And then if you have not, I do read, I hated reading before this business and I still don't really like it unless I find a book that I'm just like, oh my gosh. But I bought this book yesterday, The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, and it's blowing my mind, like literally blowing my mind. And so I've required that my leaders get this book. Like I was like, you will buy this book. It was $25 at Books A Million. You can probably get it on Amazon. But Shay started reading it, and she was at my house before we went to Colorado, and she was like just reading pieces of it to me, and I was like, I need it. Like I have to have that book. And so I went and got it yesterday, and now all of my leaders were about to like start like a book club, and we're going to like read it together and like grow together. But I might even tell my team, like, listen, if you're actually serious about making money, you will get this book. But reading books like that, and sometimes like just praying or like reading in my Bible. So that's everything I do.
So you like do more of like your affirmations like in your head while you're cleaning.
Yeah. And this book actually, it talks about affirmations. And let me find it. It's going to, hold on. This is for free, but y'all's minds are about to be completely blown like mine was. So he's talking about affirmations and how he does not like affirmations. And I was like, what? Like, all I was taught, like affirmations. Like I used to have like a piece of paper that was like, I am. And it had like all of these words like around him, all of my affirmations. It was like right in front of me and I would like read it every morning. But he said that he doesn't like affirmations, that he likes declarations. And so it says the difference between a declaration and an affirmation is slight, but in my mind, extremely powerful. The definition of an affirmation is a positive statement asserting that a goal you wish to achieve is already happening. So it's kind of like you're getting your hopes up. I've never Googled what an affirmation meant. So when I read that, I was like, okay, that makes sense. And then the definition of a declaration is to state an official intention to undertake a particular course of action and adopt a particular status. An affirmation states a goal that is already happening. I'm not crazy about this because often when we affirm something that is not yet real, a little voice in our head usually responds with, this isn't true, this is BS. And I was like, that's so true. Like, how many times have you said, I'm going blank? I'm like, for so long, I've been like, I'm going presidential. I'm going presidential. And then there's always that little tiny hair that's like, you know? And yes. So then he's like, on the other hand, start declaring it. Like, I am presidential diamond. And so I'm like, I've started doing that. And it's definitely helped like my mind. Like or saying like, I have a millionaire mindset, or I am financially independent, instead of saying I will be. Like, say you already are, like declare it and then just make it happen. But
I bought that book for one of my leaders when she went diamond. I like sent her a little package and I got her that book. I wonder if she read it. I need to read it. You're like the 4th person that I've heard talk about that book this month. So I'm like, okay, like I need to get that book.
Yes. I was like in the bathtub last night and I was just like, I think I sent in my leaders chat like 20 pictures because whenever I read things like this, like I highlight. And so like as I'm reading, like every page is like has so many things highlighted. And as I would highlight something, I would take a picture and send it to them. I was like, okay, again, I am suggesting buy this book.
Again, go buy this book.
Yeah. Okay, one more time.
That's how I like pick books that I want to buy. I'll like see someone, screenshot like their highlighted thing, put it in their Instagram story, and I like DM them like, what book is that?
Yeah. Yes.
Actually, one of the books that I'm reading right now, it's like a 40-day thing, but Carrie Young did it, Draw the Circle.
I want to get that one. That's one that I need to get. Another one that's really good is Freakishly Effective Leadership for Network Marketers.
Freakishly effective. It's a tongue twister.
I know. I was like, what? But those are like the 2 that I'm reading right now. And it's like, it gives me chills. Like I have chills right now.
I love that. Okay. So, let's see. I like wrote down a bunch of notes. Okay. So when you're like building your triple team, so like when you are, building up legs, what do you look for in a leader? Like when you're looking at like, okay, where am I going to place? Because we all place, right? Like we all know, like we're enrolling DTs, we're placing on our charts.
Yes.
What are you looking for in someone to be like, okay, like this person has qualities that I like, that like I feel like they would be good in this position?
Mm-hmm. So, and this is something that, I mean, because I haven't promoted with the new charts and I haven't promoted since October. And for me, probably like 2 months ago, because going, like, I didn't realize that there was a huge difference in like your team and like the role that you play as a double diamond versus a triple diamond. They're two completely different ranks, very different. Like triple president ambassador is a whole nother level. Like it's crazy because,
can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, like they're all still like, I mean, they're all still important, but whenever you go triple, like your team is so, like my team is so much bigger than it was whenever, I was working on going double. And I feel like for me, going triple has taught me that, I am red, but I have to tap into some yellow, because I feel like in order to be the best leader, in order to lead and be a good leader, you have to be red, right? Because reds are goal driven. They know what to do. They get it done. They show up. They get it done. But you still have to love on your team. And that was something that going triple has taught me. And two, before, I was like, my chart, my promotion, like that was all I focused on. And so I only placed on my chart. I did not look across the board at who deserved my time or who deserved my help. And that's why to me, triple is so much different and harder than double, because you're not just helping you and your promotion, but you also have to remember all of these people who just, let's say that you signed on Sally for your triple promotion and she's in a 400 box. Sally didn't join you to be a 400 box. Sally joined you to run with you, to go ruby, to go emerald, to go diamond, to do all the things that you're doing. So who are you to tell her, well, I just need you for a 400 box and that's it, and then you're done? And so for me, it's been, and I think that that's why I haven't, gone pres yet, is because I'm not pushing my promotion. I'm focused on my team and who's working and who's showing up. And so the way that I do that is I have my team page, and we have weekly Zooms. We have Zooms on Mondays, and I look at who's getting on there. Okay. If I see somebody who is in an emerald box, but this girl is never on Zooms and she's never in our team chats, and I don't really see her showing up, I'm not going to help her. I don't care if I need her for emerald on my presidential chart, because whenever the time comes for me to push pres, I'm going to push and I'm going to make it happen. But before I can get there, I have to make sure that I have a strong team across the board everywhere, because that's 100,000 group volume. That is a lot of volume. You know what I mean?
That jump from what you need for triple to what you need for pres is insane.
Like, what do you need for triple? 3,500?
35,000.
So it's 35,000 to go, but 50,000 to maintain.
And then 100,000
to go pres.
I
That's
know.
massive. And so that's why for me right now, I'm focused on across the board, who's showing up. Okay, what is your goal? And that's also what this book talks about, freakishly effective leadership. Not everybody wants to be diamond. Some people just want to go ruby right now. Okay. So if you have somebody who just wants to go ruby right now, don't push them to diamond, because you're going to push them away. Focus, like work with what they want, because that's still helping you. A ruby is 2,000 volume. That helps you a lot. However many rubies, if you can pop that many, you can get 100,000 volume. But, I know for me, going ruby really lit a fire under my butt. I was like, dang, okay. This is all this is? Just a bunch of rubies everywhere? Like, I can do this. And so, if y'all do team Zooms, focus on who's showing up, and for me, like, I'm trying to grow my leadership team, because there's me and 4 other girls. So, like, I have 5 leaders, like 4, I'm included in that. And I want to grow that. But I wait and I see, which I'm about to add 2 girls to it, but I'm waiting on them to go Ruby. And one of them is a girl who joined and then quit and came back. And now she's like a completely different distributor. She's like, I want this. I see that she's working. She's only 163 away from Ruby. And I'm like,
so
okay.
she's definitely doing that.
Yeah. And then, the other one, like, it's seeing, I try to find me in people. You know what I mean? And then I'm like, okay, you're ready.
I just love that you said that, like, you're focusing on other people and not just your chart. I think, like, it's really easy to get selfish with this business. And when you start just making it all about you, that's when things start to fall apart.
Yeah.
And, like, that happened to me when I went diamond, and then I lost it, and I lost it for probably like 7 months. And then I love how you said, like, about, like, Sally didn't join you to be a 400 box. And this is something, like, my leaders know, like, I've been talking about a lot lately. Like, dude, like, if someone signed up with you, like, I get that you, like, threw them in this box and, like, maybe, like, they're not, like, working as effectively as, like, you want them to right now, but, like, or you like aren't using that leg anymore, so you're pulling up this leg, so you don't really want to focus there. But it's like, that person joined with you because you promised them that you were going to show up every day for them and work with them and teach them everything that they need to know. And just because you don't need them on your chart anymore, like, you made promises to this person, like, they invested their $99 in you.
Yeah. And that's
so, like, you need to show up for them whether you need them on your chart or not.
Yes. And I tell my team that, like, they didn't, like, they joined you because they saw what it did for you. They trusted you. Like, and I'm talking, like, for me now, people see me, they see my business posts. They see me talk about bi-weekly grocery trips and paying my bills and buying my dream car and doing this. Like, people don't join me to just, like, people join me because they see what I've been able to do. And they're like, I want to do that. Just like, I joined Courtney because I wanted the financially free life and to have all those time freedoms. And she helped me. But, like, the day I went diamond, she didn't place anything under me. Like, she, like, obviously, like, leads me, but she doesn't do it for me because she's like, I know you're going to get it. And so it's like, you have to, like, find people like that and trust that they're going to do it, and then just keep bringing in, more people. But you never know where, like, when somebody will take off or how this business will, my computer's about to die, so I have to grab my charger. Like, when they'll take off or when their time to shine will be, kind of thing.
Absolutely. That's like Sarah Dente. She's a double diamond on my team, and, like, she was placed in, like, an executive box on, like, an emerald chart on, like, my husband's chart, and then, like, literally went double, quit, came back, when ruby, emerald, diamond, double in, like, an 8-month period.
Yeah.
On her own. Literally never placed under her.
Something I've told my team is, people don't join this business for you to just get a fast start. That's something that kind of, like, I had to teach myself because I love fast starts. Like, my commissions are like my serious money, like, pay my bills kind of thing. But, like, my fast starts are like, you want to go to TJ Maxx? You want to go spoil yourself? Well, get yourself 3 fast starts,
Right.
But people don't join to just be a fast start to you. So, like, they joined to change their life, just like you joined to change yours. So make sure that you're giving them that.
Yes, I love that. It's so important. So, as you, like, since this is, like, my leaders that are on here, I feel like we can just go into more, like, leadership stuff. So, like, as your team was growing from, and you promoted to triple with the old chart, so that's a lot of boxes. So when you're enrolling tons of DTs and you're filling out this massive chart, how are you keeping up with everybody? Like, how are you implementing layered leadership? Are you working one-on-one with people? Like, what does that look like to not get, like, because I know, like, so, like, some girls on my team, they'll enroll, like, 10 DTs in a month. And then, like, that's overwhelming for some people, like, trying to train that many people, especially if they're, like, working or going to school. And, like, you obviously did it with 2 children running around at home. So,
and this is something that, So like Jade came to me a couple months ago, last month, I don't remember. She came to me and she was like, what are you focused on? And I was like, well, my goal, because I sat down and I asked myself, how many distributors can you properly train a month? And by properly train, I mean give fair time to and train them through the whole training and like actually keep up with them on top of keeping up with your children. And mine was 7. And I thought that was a good number. And so my goal was 7 distributors a month, 30 customers. And we're all leaders here. And so Jade was like, you need to flip that. You need to make your goal as a diamond and above 30 distributors a month and 7 customers, because you're going to fast starts and cabs. First off of 30 distributors, you make more. You bring in more money versus 30 customers when you're getting $2.13 or whatever commission because you're placing 13 levels down in your business, you know. And so she was like, focus on more distributors. And I was like, but how do I train that? Like I cannot train 30 distributors. And she was like, not every single person that you're going to join is going to run with you, and you have to know that. But if you're only signing 7 distributors, they're not all going to run with you and work. You might properly train those 7 distributors, but only one of them sticks. What if you sign on 30 distributors, you send them your new distributor training, you show up to them, you check in with them, and then as they start falling off, you put it in their court. And I was like, oh, well, this makes some sense. And so what I do is which when there's like a promo, all bets are off. I'll sign however many people come to me. You know what I mean? Like, you want to join the business? Come on, we're one big fam. But I try to, sign on as many distributors as I can. And my new distributor training used to be like I'd go and copy and paste a step and send it to them. But now I put it in a Google Docs form, and I've saved that in my text replacements. And it's just NDT, so new distributor training. And it's a form. And they go through, and it's step by step. They can click done. I can go in and see like what step they're on when they've done it.
It's through Google Forms.
Yeah, Google Forms thing, like a
Yep.
And obviously, like, I don't go and check to see who's done it, because you can tell, like, if they're on step 2, they're sending you a selfie. If they're on step 3, they're telling you why they joined. So you can keep up with like what step they're on and whatnot. So whenever I sign a new distributor, send them the new distributor training, because I don't have time to sit here and copy and paste this message. Oh, Riley needs a diaper change. Oh, now I need to do this. Like, send it to them. It's done. You have the whole training. You see what your training consists of from the get-go. Because sometimes people see step 1 and then they don't realize there's 7 other steps, and then they take 7 hours to finish step 1, and then you're sitting here like, hello. So they see that it's X amount of steps and they get it done. So I send them that, and then, you're going to have some people who work with you. You're going to have some people who last a month. You're going to have some people who just fall off after a week. But what I do is I have alarms that go off on my phone. I have alarms set, I don't know what times, and I don't really remember how many there are, but it's enough to send 150 messages a day. No, maybe not that, 140, something like that. But every time the alarm goes off, it says send 20 messages. So whatever I'm doing, if I'm making lunch, if I am going into Target, if I am moving clothes from the washer to the dryer, I have my phone in my hand and I'm using my text replacements, and I send 20 messages, and then it's done. And it's the same thing at 9:50 every single morning, because I'm home from taking Berkeley to school and I have my coffee made. There's an alarm that goes off that says check in with new distributors. So every single morning, because as you're working this business, you're enrolling. So like the distributors that I enrolled 3 days ago, I'm checking in today and whatnot, and I'll check in with them 4 times. Okay. So if I've gone 4 days and I've checked in with you every single day, hey girl, how's it going? Do you have any questions? What step are you on? Like, I saw you completed this. Like, are you ready to move on for the next one? Like, whatever. I follow up 4 times. After that, if I'm still not hearing back from them, not really getting anything, I send them a voice message and I just say, hey girl, I don't want to waste your time and I don't want to waste mine. I sent you the training. I'm ready to help you whenever you are, but I can't make you do this. Like, you joined this business because blah, blah, blah. When you're ready to work, you can come to me and I'm here to help you. Put it in their court. Okay. That's not you giving up on them. That's not you not being a good leader, but you can't beat a dead horse. You can't sit here and just continue to drag somebody on if they're not good, because, and my time is valuable, right? Like, I'm a single mom, trying to date, trying to take care of my kids, trying to work my business. Like, my time is precious. Okay. So if I'm checking in with you every morning at 9:50 and you can't just let me know, like, hey, maybe I don't want to do this, like, it's in your court. So That's how I do it.
That's so good. So literally just a Google Doc that you send them and it just has the steps on it.
Yeah, I can text it to you.
Do you send them like a video or anything?
Well,
or is there a video in the thing?
I don't think there's a video. Hold on. I'm trying to turn my light on because it's getting dark in here. Go. Let me look at it. It has like my team page. So you go to it and it has like the description, yada, yada, yada. So excited. First, send me a selfie. Let me know, so I can welcome you to the team page. And then it's got the link to eSuite. Tells them to log into eSuite, accept the tax information, because I absolutely hate when I'm looking in eSuite and I see.
Is this similar to like the steps that Shay talked about on that Zoom she did with Jade last week?
Exact same thing. Out there, yes. If you go out there, it's the exact same. Shay and I did, like, Shay was here when I did mine, so mine is basically just like off of Shay's, but with my stuff.
Yeah. All right. I have that. Cheyenne sent that to me. Okay. So, all right. So you're triple diamond, right? Like 5 figures a month. I mean, 6-figure salary. Like, hello. And you have 2 kids. What keeps you from getting complacent where you are? Like, what is that fire in you that keeps you to keep pushing? But like, I mean, dude, because I think about it, I'm like, if I was making 6 figures, like, I'd be good. Like, I'd be good with that.
Yeah.
But like, what keeps you pushing for more? Because I know when I was an emerald, I was like, when I go double, like, I'll be good with that.
Right.
Now at double, I'm like, no, I'm not good with that.
I think like I've always just kind of like had that personality that like I'm thankful, but like I want more. But it's not like I want more. I want to be able to do more. Like when I think about what I want in life, and like I want to be able to like buy a house, somewhere like in Texas, but it not be like a big ginormous mansion, like just a practical house for me and my family, whatever, and pay for it. Okay. I want to buy a house in Florida. That way, whenever I go to conference, I can go to Florida and not have to pay for somewhere. And then while I'm not there, use it as an Airbnb, so I'm still making profit off of it. I want a house in Colorado because I love Colorado, and so it's like I think about things like that, but I don't want to have a ton of payments on things. And so the way that I'm going to do that is by growing in this business. And, like after leaving what I've left, like I want to be able to give, donate money to domestic violence, centers and things like that. And also like just kind of like the unknown, like what if Berkeley O'Reilly gets sick, or like if he tries to take me back to court, like being able to just like pay for that and not have to worry about that. But also like, whenever I get married again, like whenever I married him, like obviously I married him because I was pregnant and it was very rushed. Like our wedding probably cost like $2,000, and like I didn't get my dream dress. It wasn't what I actually wanted. And I want to be able to go and buy the dress that I want and not have to look at the price tag, and get the ring that I want and not have to care. And if I want to get married in Mexico, fly all my family and friends to Mexico. Like, that, like I'm thinking about the future now. And so I think that that's what keeps me going.
I love that, because it's easy to get complacent when you like get to a rank where you're like, okay, like I'm good, like I can afford my life right now.
Yeah. And like for me, like, which I know it doesn't matter, but like titles and recognition, like if you've ever taken like a love language test, like I have to have like words of affirmation. I'm all of them except for gifts. Like I don't
Me
care.
too.
I don't care about gifts because I can buy my own gift. Like if I want it, I can buy it. But like, I want you to like physical touch and like words of affirmation and, acts of service, like everything except for gifts. And so I think that that's just like part of my personality is I like recognition. I want people to know my name. Like I want to be on the stage at conference and be on a panel and people be like, oh, there's Carly, she's an ambassador. Like things like that.
People know your name.
But I'm just like, I'm me. Like,
yeah.
Like seriously, at conference last year, I had 2 people ask me for my autograph, and I was like, huh? Like they walked up to me with like,
you're like, what? Like, my autograph? Like I'm not famous.
Will you write us a tip and sign it? And I was like, sure. Like, I was like, Riley was like strapped to me and I'm like bouncing and riding. I'm like, this is insane.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I love that. I want to go triple. I want to sit on the floor. Like when I think about like, okay, the next rank, I'm like, dude, I need the VIP perks.
That's
like
what
waiting times to go shopping is not for me.
I was like, I want to be VIP by conference. Like that was my goal. And I made it happen because VIP, you don't have to go wait in those lines. You get to go down on the floor. They have this section, like you can walk up and like look at a catalog and say, I want this shirt. And then they'll send somebody up to the store for you. And like an hour later, it's ready for you to come pick up and you just go grab your bag.
Stop.
It was glorious. My team was like, can you do it for us? The line's like 3 hours long. And I was like, I don't think I can do it for y'all, but just go triple and you can do it next year.
I know. I'm like, oh. Yes. I'm like, that's the goal this year is like, okay, I'm going triple before conference because this girl is not sitting in the stands again. I can't do it.
You're going to be on the floor.
I'm going to be on the floor. Last year I sat in the stands with Nash. This year I'm like, he can't come with us because he's like all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, honey, you're going to have to stay home with the baby.
Yeah. I'm going to Florida.
I'm by myself. Okay. All right. I have 2 more questions. So at what point, so for me, this is something that I struggle with. And I know that my other leaders struggle with this too. Like at what point are you like, when you look at someone on your chart that maybe is like in a leadership position and be like, I need to just love you where you are, but like, you're not going where I'm going. And like, how do you just like get past that?
Yeah. Okay. So, where do I start?
Because for me, I'm like, I want to just shake you and be like, what are you doing? But like, I know that's like not going to work.
That you asked me this because literally, like, I went live in my team page earlier and I was talking about the Secrets of a Millionaire Mind. And he said, I gotta find it and read it to y'all. But it was something like, maybe it was not giving, I choose to not entertain thoughts that do not empower me towards my vision of wealth. And like, to me, like, I choose to not entertain anything that does not empower me toward my vision of wealth, whether that be places, people, thoughts, no matter what it is. And so, like, I read that again and I got on Pinterest because, and I guess this is another like thing that I can do for personal development. Like sometimes like I'll just like think of like something that's on my heart. Like today it was like outgrowing places. Like I just, for some reason, like that's just been like on my mind. And I think it's because like, you know, like being honest with y'all, like going from what I left to actually being divorced, and he takes Berkeley, but he does not see Riley. And so it's like having like, I finally confronted him about that. And starting dating again and like being open to that, and like just trying to like actually figure out life now. Like I don't want to say like I've had to grow. Like I have had to actually like grow. And this is like the first time in my life, like even whenever I was experiencing all of that, like I wasn't growing like I am now. Like I'm having to sit down and grow my mind and like actually just figure crap out. But you know, I was thinking about like outgrowing places, outgrowing people, because there are people on my team who it doesn't matter what I say to them. It doesn't matter what quote I sent them. It doesn't matter what I've done for them. They are still in the poor person mindset. And I'm like, I'm trying to not be there. I'm trying to have the rich person mindset, and I'm trying to go to the next level and, you know, be the next level of, you know, higher level of myself and, you know, do all of these amazing things. And, you know, I was talking about that, like one of my best friends from high school, we do not talk now. We do not like each other because, you know, and that's not on me. I offered her this business. I offered her this opportunity for her to grow with me. She didn't want it. She's exactly where, you know, I was, and I've outgrown her, and I'm okay with that because of where I am now and where I know that I'm going. But when it's in the business, and it kind of depends on like your relationship, But for me, I'm going to say that that's one of the times where you have to put the like business face on and say friendship is like over here. And there's sometimes where I go to my leaders and I say, this is me talking to you as your leader, and like business, and this is not me being your friend. And then I say it. And sometimes that's the way you have to look at things, you know? And that's, you know, that's what I've had to do for Prez. My strongest leg. I've had to tell her, I want this to be you. But if you're not going to show up and be it, I'm going to find somebody else who's going to be it. Like I had to flat out tell her that. And
it's hard. It's hard because you become friends with your team.
Exactly. And it's not, nobody wants to hear that. I would be like,
nobody wants to say that.
Like, I think that if Courtney Bohr ever would have told me that, I would have actually bawled my eyes out. Like, I'm sorry. Because you feel like being that person, okay, like you've let yourself down. You now feel like you're letting your leader, your enroller, your upline, like you feel like you're letting them down, but then you also feel like you're letting your team down. And so it's hard on both sides, but if either of you are going to continue on, it's something that you have to face. And, you know, it's kind of something that like I've been going through recently in my business. And, you know, it's like, I feel like that's when it's like you have to be equal parts of red and yellow, because you have to say it because it's your business and you join this to make money, not friends. Friendships just come along with it. But at the same time, like you don't want to be a complete and total bitch about it. Like you still want to be kind of like, you know, not sugarcoat it, but like I use the
I'm your friend and I love you, but like, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, you have to do, if it's something that's keeping you from a promotion, then you have to look at your promotion. Okay. Because you should never, and that, what was it in? Hold on. It might've been that podcast that I was listening to yesterday. Yes. Okay. It was. So it was the She's Here For It podcast by Abby Kappa. And it was episode 6. But she said, do not start pouring more time into your team than in your own business until you've gotten as far as you want to go. Ooh.
That's so good.
That was.
Wait, can you say that again? Because there are people on here who need to hear that right now.
Do not start pouring more time into your team than your own business until you've gotten as far as you want to go. You didn't join this business for your team. You joined it for you. Okay. So
I think that's something that a lot of us as leaders struggle with is like we stop doing the 80-20 rule. Like it winds up getting flipped. And then it's like 80% of your time you're trying to pour into your team and 20% is going to your personal business. And then your enrollments are down, your potentials are down, and your team's relying on you for everything.
Yeah. And you know, that's why I'm really big on like leading by example. Like I want to be the one booming the most in my chats, because if I'm booming, you know, my leaders are going to be like, well, I want to boom too. And if my leaders are booming, then their downlines are going to be like, oh, well, I want to boom. And it just trickles down. But I always try to be, you know, the one doing the most on my team. Like I need to be enrolling the most. I mean, there's times where people surpass me. Yes. But if it's just, that hit me because, and that was yesterday that I heard that. And so like today, I didn't do anything in my team page. I didn't say anything in my leaders chat. I didn't say anything in any of my team chats until I did what I had to do for my business. And like yesterday after I heard that, because like my leaders chat, we have like a texting chat. And so I sent them a voice message and I was like, I've been sitting here racking my brain trying to figure out like, where is the girl who went diamond in 4 months? You know, like where is she in her fire? And how I did that. And it's because I didn't care who you were. I didn't care where you were. I didn't care what was going on. I was going to do it. Nothing was going to stand in my way. And I worked my business hard. I was always showing up to it. And that's where you have to be. Like whenever I heard that, I was like, okay, like it makes sense. Then I was doing everything that I had to do for my business first, because I feel like for me, you know, doing things like this, like fills my cup up because I'm helping other people. And it's like, I'm talking to y'all, but I'm all like, I hear what I'm saying. I'm taking it in too. Like I'm talking to myself. And so it's like, you know, I don't know. I don't know what I think. I just think that quote is amazing. And
no, that's literally like so good.
Yeah.
Read it one more time.
Do not start pouring more time into your team than your own business until you've gotten as far as you want to go.
And she's with another MLM.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally so, that's like we just leave the Zoom now. Like,
Like,
oh my God, literally, that's so good. And hold on, I wrote it down. She's here for it. That's the
yeah,
name
I'll
of the
send you.
podcast.
I'll send you. Something.
Okay.
It's so good. Like, you're gonna listen to it. All of her episodes are good. Like, there's one that's called Influence, and then Her, and it's talking about why people aren't joining your team, and it's because, well, you're not relating to her, and you're trying to just sign on any and everybody, and you're not focusing on her. Like, we are influencers, but we need to influence her to join your business. Who are you? What is your brand? Like, it's just this whole podcast. You're gonna be like,
So good. Mind blown.
yes.
All right. I'm going to ask one last question. So, and I don't even know if this is like something that you've ever personally dealt with in your business, but I'm sure people on your team have, and you've had to like give words of wisdom. But like these last few months have been rough for our team and like volume and people losing rank and stuff. So how would you tell someone to pull themselves out of that? Like you said, everyone goes to you when they're like going through the struggles.
Yeah.
So someone on your team just lost rank, like they just saw a really crappy paycheck, they're feeling really crappy, and they're like, Carley, this is not it for me. Like, what is happening?
So first, you sit down and you look in the mirror. And if you can actually tell yourself that you don't know how it happened and that you gave it your all, I don't know what to tell you. Because if you've lost rank and your volume is dropping a lot, it's because you're not doing something. Something isn't clicking. Because this business it's a cycle, okay? You post to show people what it's about. You message to plant a seed. You grow your network so more people are seeing your stuff. You post, they see it. You message. The post is watering the seed. They sign up, okay? So it's like one just big giant cycle. So there's something that's not working, whether it be that, maybe you're just going through the motions, or you're doing it but you're not actually believing it. Maybe you need to work on your mindset. But there's been times that I lost rank. And whenever I did, I would sit down and I would say, okay, what have you done? What have you done? What have you not done? And, they're like, because I was trying to like keep up with like what everybody else was doing. And so when everybody went and got an iPad and stopped writing everything down on paper and went to the iPad, my business plummeted. Like, I am not an iPad kind of person. I have to have actual paper and an actual pen. And so I took my iPad back. I was like, this is the devil. Take it and do not want it. And so I started writing everything down again. Okay. Figure out what works for you and just make sure that you're doing that. So like for me, I looked back at, okay, whenever you went diamond, what were you doing? Well, you were talking to yourself all the time, telling you were a diamond. You're doing it. I literally had sticky notes everywhere. It was on mirrors. I would practice my ambassador speech. I'm ridiculous, I know. But I had a binder and I wrote everything down. And I got out of doing that and I got out of my routine and I tried to see, oh, what's she doing? Like for me, it was comparing myself, okay? Shay and I have always promoted together. Always. I went diamond, she went diamond. We went double the same month. She went triple. And then like a couple months later, or in October, she went president, I went triple. And so it's like we've always promoted together around the same time. And for me, like whenever she's here, I try to keep up with her. I try to figure out what she's doing. But I have to remember, I'm almost 27 and she's 20. We are not in the same area of life.
You have 2 kids.
I have 2 kids. She has no kids. She literally wakes up in the morning and it's like, she's going. She's responding to messages. She's doing this. I have to my brain doesn't even function until I have coffee. So it's like I have to wake up and make coffee and make breakfast and get kids ready and change diapers and do this. And so, were you focused more on what she's doing rather than what you're doing? Are you comparing yourself saying, well, she's here and I'm here? It's just all of the things. Like, looking at what you're doing, looking at the efforts that you're putting in. Where are you not giving your time? Are you posting and doing all this but not doing personal development? Like, you have to just make sure that you're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing in this business. And if you're doing that, then you should always be growing. I think that whenever we do lose rank or whenever our volume does start to drop, it's because we start to get comfortable, or we start, like, even if you say that you're not comfortable, you get a little bit comfortable. You stop messaging as much as you did. You stop posting the way you did. Your posts don't have as much feeling to them. Like, there's just something that's not adding up. So if you're genuinely giving everything, all that you have to give, and you're doing everything that you know that you have to do for this business, then you should always be growing. And your business should, if you know, I mean, if you have a month where it's slower, like, that's normal. But if you just keep going down and keep going down, it's because you're not doing something.
Yep. So like, we message. I'm assuming you message. Yeah, you said you message. You said you message like 140 people a day. So if someone on your team comes to you and they're like, you know, I'm sending out, you know, 80 to 100 messages a day, and they're not filling out their steps to success, like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
What are you saying to that?
So what message are you sending? You know, like, if you're, because there are times where, I mean, the message that I would send whenever, like, if I was to send a message now that I sent whenever I was trying to go diamond, it probably wouldn't work that great.
No, me neither.
So you have to look at the message that you are sending, okay? If it's not producing results,
change it.
Come up with a new message. You know, there's no magic message. There's no message that I have. There's no message that Shay has. Like, it's just a message. So, like, I hate when people are like, well, what do you say? I'm like, it doesn't matter what I say. Like, because the way that I talk and the way that you talk are completely different, and people can see that, because the way that I post, the way that I talk on my stories, people can know me. And so if I'm sending a message that doesn't sound like me, they're going to be like, and it's not going to produce results. Okay. Mm-hmm. So if your message isn't working, try a new message. But also, who are you messaging? Okay. If you're going and you're just adding literally every girl on Instagram that you see, you're not going to relate to everybody. Like, and I was talking about this in my team page the other day, like, you know, because I like, sometimes I get on adding sprees where I've added the weirdest people. And I mean, like, that, this is a true story. I added one girl who thought she was a vampire. And I was like going through, I like clicked on her Instagram, and it was like fangs and like blood stuff everywhere. And I was like, huh? Like, how did you get here? You know, follow people. Like, it was like, I was serious. Like, I was like, what happened? Like, nah. I would never send her a message, right? Because
right.
Not going to do anything. But, you know, message people who you have like things in common with. People who you, and that's something that it's in that podcast. Like, you know, you should be messaging and giving your time to people who you genuinely think could use these products, or would want these products, or would appreciate what you have to offer. And I don't message for distributors, but like, if you come across somebody's page who, like, let's say that you see this mom who's talking about how she wants more time with her kids or wants more money, send her a message, send her a voice message. Don't send her a script. Like, I think that, you know, if you're just not producing, what was the exact question again?
What did I ask? Oh my God, I just have like a brain thing. Like, if someone's like sent, because like I'll have people that'll come to me and they'll be like, I'm sending out 100 messages a day, and like, no, I'm not signing up anybody.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, like what?
But and then I always ask them, okay, are you actually sending 150 messages? Okay, are you posting? Are you on your story? Because if you're just messaging and you're not posting, people think you got hacked, because they don't see like you doing the work. And that's the thing, like, a lot of new distributors do that. They're like, well, I've sent 50 messages. I'm like, well, you haven't posted in 3 days. Like, you just started this business. So
you got to talk about it.
You've got to talk about it. You've got to put it out there. You've got to show up. You've got to show people what you're doing, and then send the message. But also, I tell my team this, and I truly believe this: we don't message to produce something right away. How often does that happen when you send that message and then they're like, oh my gosh, yes, I would love keto coffee and chocolate greens? Hardly ever. You message to plant a seed, to plant an idea. And then, like I said earlier, as you're posting, as you're on your story, as you're showing your results, as you're making a story of you making your keto coffee and talking about how it helps you, that seed, that message that you've sent is being watered. And then eventually it's going to turn into something. So whenever I'm messaging, I don't look at it like, oh my gosh, I sent 150 messages and got 2 people to message me back. I look at it like, I just planted 150 seeds. Can you imagine the harvest that I'm going to be plowing in 3 months? It's the same thing for boom season. Like through the winter seasons, like we're messaging our butts off and planting our seeds. And then springtime comes around and everybody's like coming out from under rocks and they're like, hey, I need to lose weight. Like you message to get it out there. And then you just have to kind of like have faith and know that eventually it's going to become something.
Yes. What did something a lot of us have been going through? How do you push through getting blocked from messaging and following? Yes, that's what everyone's going through right now. Literally everyone on my team is like blocked from following right now.
Really? So I made my account. So my account was like a personal blog, but then I realized that when it's like that, you have to have the Facebook page, and I don't like that because I like when my Instagram stories post to my personal Facebook page.
Yes.
So I took it back to like just an Instagram, like a normal one, but I made it public. And so what I do is I use like the tags, and so like if you go look at my Instagram, then you'll see that like every single post either says like Sherman, Texas, or Grayson County, or Estes Park, or wherever I am. And then as my pictures get likes, because my pictures normally get over 200 likes or around 200, like my pictures show up. Like if you go to Grayson County, Texas, or Sherman, Texas, if you click that tag, it's mostly my pictures. And so people go and look at that, they see me, they come to me. Okay. So because I used to be so against a public Instagram, I'm like, nope, everybody from Thrive is going to try to like poach my business, but I can still control who follows me. So as I see people are following me, the first thing that I do is I go and look at their page. If I see that they're in another business, I block them. If I see that they're a creeper, I block them. My block list is so long, it's ridiculous. Like I'm actually worried that there's a limit on how many people you can block. So I'm probably close to it. But I made it public. I use the tags, and I've really been getting into attraction marketing. So having people come to me. Almost all of my customers that I sign up come to me. But that's because I am messaging and not thinking about getting that customer right then and there. I'm messaging, planting a seed, but then also my stories. Like my story, the way that I try to do my story is like every single morning, show me drinking my celery juice, my keto coffee, something about life, whether it's a video of my kids, something like that. And then something about the business. But, I've been getting into, instead of trying to be so perfect on my story, and always having like the cutest over thing or whatever, get on Snapchat, use a filter, take a video of you talking and just put it on your story. Like that's literally what I do. I have so many people message me, because people want to relate to you. People don't relate to a pretty picture of me that's all edited cute with all the cute graphics around it talking about joining my business. I get more people messaging me when I put my phone in my little ring light thing right here and I just talk to them like this. Like I'm looking for 3 more people who want to join this business, gas money, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, okay. Also Instagram, I use Instagram more, but IGTV, do a video about misconceptions that people think about this business. And, like for me, people think that they don't have time. I'm a single mom of 2. What is time to do anything? Like I can't even go to the bathroom by myself. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like you have time. It's about priorities. Do one about, your story, like use everything that's out there to use and just, try to do attraction marketing. So like my actual Instagram posts, like it's not, I always have a face in them. So it's either just me or like a group of people, but like there's always a face. I don't post quotes. I don't post pictures of cups or anything like that. All of that is on my story. My story has videos, it has me talking. So if you're blocked, do more to where people are going to come to you. What would you want to see? What's going to, like if you weren't in this business, what would get you to join this business? Is it going to be a picture that you're not going to relate to, that you can't hear and feel something? Or is it going to be somebody actually talking? It's going to be somebody actually talking. So it's scary at first, like putting yourself out there and being vulnerable, but you have to do it. And I promise it will help so much.
I love that. So good. That's it. That's all I got. Thank you so much for getting on and, pouring into us tonight. We're so appreciative. And I know you will be going Pres soon. I'm over here cheering you on from the sidelines.
You're going triple. You're going to be on the floor at conference.
I will be on the floor with you at conference.
I cannot wait. You're going to get to go in the little side entrance and
someone's going to go shop for my clothes for me.
Yes.